Since graduating, I've been a professional photographer in New York, working for brands and music artists. My goal at Emerson was trying to blend a little bit of VMA into marketing communications. My major is semi-connected to what I'm doing now, and a lot of that is because I was involved in a lot of organizations that really helped shape what I wanted to do in the future and who I was, and became some of my best friends, outside of college.
Justin,
what's up?
Dude?
How are you?
Yeah, thanks for coming. It's the hottest day of the year,
I
obviously.
know, you picked the hottest day.
But we picked a nice shady spot.
This is the best. We're in Central Park in New York.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
So what's good? What have you been up to?
Since graduating, I've been a professional photographer in New York, working for brands and music artists, shooting, content creation, strategy, different stuff like that, helping different brands kind of tell their stories, whether that's shooting or strategically coming up with ideas for content, social media content.
What's it been like post-graduation now? Now that you're in the real world?
It's been good. I've actually, throughout my time at Emerson, I've always wanted to, see what it was like to just not have school and be able to just be free and work and really hone my craft and figure out what I want to do. It's been great to be able to focus here, in what I think is the best city in the world to do what I do, meet really cool people, get connected to brands and other alumni that are here, and really kind of try and grow my network and find the path and angles that I want to take with my career and what I do.
So what did you do at Emerson? What brought you to Emerson? Catch up a little bit about before you graduated.
Yeah, totally. When I was applying to Emerson, I was kind of going back and forth if I wanted to go to film school or marketing, and I decided on marketing communications, and I'm super happy with that choice. I had a ton of fun doing it. For a lot of people, it's kind of confusing because I do a lot of photography things and more visual media arts, VMA things. I was involved in the EVVYs for a long time, which was super fun. A lot of Emerson channel shows. And my goal at Emerson was trying to blend a little bit of VMA into marketing communications. I always had a love for photography and videography and more creative advertising. So I was super happy with my choice to be a marketing communications major and take some courses that taught me how to blend my two loves for branding and also content creation, storytelling.
How do you think Emerson provided you the opportunity to do that, to actually major in one thing, but be a lot more communal and hands-on in so many different aspects of the school?
Yeah, I think Emerson does a good job of making sure that the organizations are cross-collaborative between majors. It doesn't really matter if you're a marketing major or a VMA major. Everyone can kind of get involved in all the organizations, and that's how I felt with my experience there. Although I wasn't a VMA, I felt like I could meet different people and get involved in more production-heavy things, and I thought I was an asset actually because of my marketing background. I was able to, be more of a marketing asset to them and take a different role than some of the other film-focused people at Emerson. And Emerson makes it super easy that I'm able to do that. There's not a lot of barriers between what major you are and what you can get involved with at Emerson.
You talked a little bit about the EVVYs. You want to tell us a little bit about what the EVVYs are, what your experience was there, and something in particular that you might have learned or done at the EVVYs that's applied to what you're doing today?
Yeah, totally. The EVVYs mean a lot to me. It has a special place in my Emerson heart. Freshman year, day one, I knew nothing really about Emerson, or I had heard in the application process the EVVYs was a thing, and it piqued my interest. And day one, I was got involved in it from the org fair, and it became a really important part of what who I was at Emerson. For people that don't know, the EVVYs are a large-scale student-run award show that happens all at Emerson in the Color Majestic Theater, which is our massive theater at Emerson. It's modeled after the Oscars or the Emmys or the Grammys, where we give out awards to Emerson students at the end based off their work. So for me, I was the technical executive producer's assistant, so an executive assistant to one of the EPs my freshman year, which was an amazing experience. It was a lot of work, but it was really rewarding. In that role, I got to learn all about everything technical with the EVVYs. So that's all the cameras and all the sets and everything about the broadcast of creating a show, a 90-minute award show, just like the Oscars or something like you would watch. And it actually really inspired me to do what I'm doing today, which I do a lot of live event production photography. I shoot award shows like the VMAs, Kids' Choice Awards, a lot of stuff, a lot of big scale productions. So I was able to learn a ton there because it was a little bit of a training grounds for moving to the real world and getting to work on those things, and I was able to do that. When I was looking at colleges, I knew that I was passionate about a lot of things. I've always been that type of person that's been super passionate about a bunch of different stuff. Kind of knew that I wanted to get into the creative field, into the photography, marketing world, film world, and was trying to find a school where I could like get a ton of hands-on experience and meet like-minded people that were super determined and passionate about the creative field and the creative world. And Emerson came along my radar. My mom actually went to Emerson, and my grandma actually went to Emerson. So I've been hearing about it my whole life, and I was by no means forced to go there, but it just ended up working out that I was interested in a lot of the fields that Emerson offers. So I heard about it that way, and then getting involved at Emerson, I realized that it was a place that I could find like-minded people, get involved in a lot of cool things that I was interested in doing outside of Emerson, and also get to travel. I mean, I was able to travel, go abroad with Emerson to the Castle program, as well as go to ELA. That was a big part of just who I was, to travel and see different cultures. And when I heard about the travel aspect, the hands-on experience, and also being in Boston, which is such a great city, it was like a no-brainer for me.
We're in the Big Apple right now, but what was Boston like for you?
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker at heart. New York always means a lot to me, but I love Boston. Boston's always got like such a special place in my heart. I feel like when I was thinking about colleges, I didn't want to be too far away from home, but also felt like Boston was like just enough where I didn't feel like I was here. I could go explore a new city, but also like get back if I needed to like spend time with my family or something like that. And Boston was great. It was such a great culture. There's so much character to Boston. There's so much college kids in Boston, which makes it for a really fun experience.
Have you found yourself bumping into like older Emerson alumni, or just like coincidentally running into other ones around the way?
Yeah, it's actually kind of a funny story. So I do a lot of work for Rockefeller Center here in New York, which is one of the big cultural centers here. And I was working for the Rockefeller Center side of things. And I was like, but it's also an NBC production where I know a lot of Emerson kids go and work at NBC. And I was just like walking around doing my thing in my zone, and all of a sudden I saw this like old friend of mine who I used to work on the EVVYs with when I was a freshman, like barely knew anyone. She still means a lot to me, and I hadn't seen her in like 4 years. She was like a production assistant for NBC, also working on the same production, but for a different side of it. And I was like, oh my God, no way, like Maddie, it's you. And like we got to connect and also help each other with the production, because then every time I had a question about like where the rundown or like, can I grab a snack from here? I was like, Maddie, like, can you help me? So it was like super cool, cross-collaborative, surprise Emerson run-in at a professional experience. So we're at Rockefeller Center in New York City, which is like one of the most iconic spots here, right in the center of Midtown Manhattan. It's really an iconic spot for a bunch of different events. There's a ton of stuff that happens here. Obviously the Christmas tree here is here every year, which is the center of culture. It's the biggest thing during the holidays. And I actually do a lot of the photography and social media content for Rockefeller Center as part of my freelance work in professional photography in New York. This is a big client of mine.
I know you've been working here a little bit when you were still at Emerson, yeah?
Yeah, it was my internship. I work for a marketing agency. This is one of the clients, and that was one of my internships at my last semester of Emerson.
Before you were graduating and sort of getting ready to go into the real world, what are some fears that you had, some animosity that might have been happening, and how did you approach that?
Totally. I mean, I think graduating college, it takes a lot mentally to figure out like what you're gonna do. You've been in school for the majority of your life, and to then kind of look forward to realizing that there is not that structure anymore. You just gotta go into the real world and find your career and figure out what you love to do and what your passion is. I think having a supportive group around you and people that you look up to, whether that's students that just graduated recently or mentors that are a little bit older, that you can talk to about kind of what they did and how they got into their career paths, was super helpful for me. I think moving to New York is scary. It's a big space with a lot going on. And I'm lucky to have grown up here, so that didn't really scare me, but it was more the career, figuring out what angle I wanted to take. In photography, in content creation, was scary because there's so many different ways in, and I feel like if you don't have a little bit of a niche or something that you specialize in, that can get tough to find opportunities. So I'm really lucky that I found my niche, and I'm still figuring it out. And I think every day post-college, even though I'm a year out, I'm still every day figuring out, what I like to do the most, what I want to do in the future, and I try and stay present, live day by day, and just get excited about what I'm working on currently. My advice for future Emerson students, current Emerson students, would be to really just get involved. I think Emerson is a pretty daunting place to join. I know that because I was there firsthand, and there's a lot going on, but you really got to just put yourself out there and start collaborating with your peers. Not every school has such passionate and driven kids. It's really a plus for Emerson. So don't be afraid to get out there. Get involved in the organizations, go to those club meetings, go to the org fair, really put yourself out there, even if it's something that you've never done before and you just have a friend that's doing it, get involved. And I think we talked about it earlier, but my major is semi-connected to what I'm doing now, and a lot of that is because I was involved in a lot of organizations that really helped shape what I wanted to do in the future and who I was, and became some of my best friends outside of college. My other piece of advice would be take advantage of the travel opportunities to study abroad. Opportunities at Emerson, even ELA as a program, really shaped me as an Emersonian. I think the Kasteel program truly changed my life, and some of my best friends today also got to see so many places around the world. So definitely take advantage of those study abroad programs and get to travel the world while also enjoying Boston.